chicks with conversation, hot topics. For those relating, it's a pretty dope conversation. Be some pretty dope chicks with conversation, hot topics. For those relating, it's a pretty dope conversation.
What do world? It's your girl Shay Meads, and I'm here with my girl
D-Mac.
Alright, and we are a pretty dope conversation.
That's right. We also have our special guest here, Tangie Wallace. Tangie, say hi to the people.
Hey everybody.
Tangie, she is here and she has her support group called Eloquently Spoken. She also has some of her apparel on, but we're going to be talking about that later. So we're going to get into our vibe check.
Let's get a vibe check. She took my cue. Vibe check. Let's go. Let us see them hearts. Let us see them thumbs up. We will not proceed until we see something. Let's get a vibe check. Y'all loving on us?
Are you loving us? Are you loving us?
Oh, there y'all go. I see y'all. There y'all go.
Are
There
you
y'all
loving
go.
us?
Alright, we loving and love. So, today's topic is
Today's topic is to blend or not to blend. And
that is the question.
that is the question. So many of us are living in blended families, right? Some work and some don't work. Some people are for it and some people are not. So today we're going to discuss blended families. And we have our girl here who is my children's other mother and what Shay will call
Bonus mom.
my children's bonus mom. Since we live in a blended family, Shay herself is in a blended family. So we're going to sit here and discuss today what that's like to be in a blended family. What do you feel about that term, other mother and
Bonus mom.
bonus mom?
Well, I don't really like the term bonus mom or other mother because to me there's no difference. They're my children. I'm mom and they're my children. I don't like that term.
Okay.
No such thing as a bonus mom. I'm their
Okay.
mom.
Listen, she don't like that term. I don't like the term stepmother. So I try to have them not say stepmother. We say other mother, right?
Okay.
So that's we got two mothers. She's the other mother. She's the bonus mom. She
My-
don't like that. But
Wait,
guess
no. My kids got two mothers too.
Yes, her kids have two mothers. You want to elaborate on that?
I'm married to a woman. My kids got two mothers.
Listen. I think that it works out. It works out a lot. So what's important with that is that you want to maintain a certain level of respect. So we respect that. She said that she doesn't like that. You know what I mean? That's not something that we discussed. It's something that just came up at this moment. But that's what we say on the outside. So I'm just gonna let you.
No, it's fine.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, that's cool. So, first question. Excuse me, I'm getting over something. 6 feet apart.
That ain't six, but I'll be
All
alright.
right, I'm 6 feet from her, so it doesn't matter. So, first question. What's the hardest thing about being a parent to someone else's child? What do you think? I can answer it.
Go ahead.
Okay. So for me, I would have to say the hardest thing for me is that just making sure that you realize at all costs you did not birth them. So the way you beat your kids, the way you discipline your kid, you cannot do that to somebody else's kid. Like it's just wrong. Like I don't know. To me, that's because sometimes if anybody know Marlon, whew,
Yeah.
I
What
would
do you think?
I also
But
think
he's a
that
good
starts.
kid.
That comes with the conversation from the beginning of the relationship. Like I think sometimes people don't generally have those kind of conversations. Like, how are we going to discipline our children?
Mhm.
Who's going to be the one disciplining? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be me? Is it going to be a together thing?
Well, I think that sometimes you got to follow the lead of how the biological parent
Mm-hmm.
is with their kid. So you can still be you, but you still got to follow their lead. Like if she doesn't beat the kids or
Yeah, why would
whatever,
you-
they
why would you-
they older now. But if she don't discipline them in a certain kind of way. So who am I to come behind her and something new to them to do that? You know.
And I think it also depends on the age of the child
That's true too.
when you coming into
That's
that
true.
situation.
Yeah.
Not everybody come in when the kids are already 2, 3, 4.
True.
Sometimes they're already at teenage stage.
True.
Nobody's
This is
really
true.
dealing with.
Because I think I
disciplinary.
came into the kids now. They are Marlon is 17 and Marlene, I believe, is 23 or something. So they was like 7 at the time and like 13 or something. So something like that, yeah. So it was like they was kind of older, but still I had a chance a little with Marlon. Marlene, she was already 13. You know how they are, preteens or teenagers. They be feeling themselves, so they already stuck in their ways. So you try to be who you are and stand firm on that, but you still gotta like, you know, back up a little bit and let mom or
that's true too. But it also depends on the children too, because sometimes like I've never had that issue where I had to chastise the kids because they were already well mannered. So I didn't have to worry about that on either side. Right. So nobody wasn't in the midst of trying to figure out who was going to be the parent, because everybody kind of established their roles already, and it was already set forth.
Okay, so let me go into the second question. So the second question would be, what would be something that you would remember from the beginning that was concerning? So like when you first came into these relationships and you stepped into it, you know, everybody has that thought of what if, or what, you know, would have been something that concerns you. What would be that?
My concern would be like how their father is going to react to a woman raising a kid. You know, not playing that role, but just being their other parent. How are they going to react to a woman who was with their child's mother, you know, raising a kid? That was concerning.
What you think?
Well, I think my concern was more so if the kids was going to like me.
Right.
Like they had this really fun love.
Likes me.
Like
right.
Like I think everybody wonders that. Like are you know, the relationship, are we gonna get along with the kids? Or now I have kids and the other kids can like, are the kids gonna mesh?
Right.
I think that's always your major concern.
Right. Cause so like for somebody who's new to this, or who is contemplating or possibly engaged to somebody who they have children and they have children, that would be something that you would say is a normal feeling. Like it would be a normal reaction, something that it would be a normal concern.
Definitely.
I think so. I think both concerns are valid or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Alright, so my thing is like, how do you deal with the parent that's outside of the house? I don't like the term absentee parent. Because just because the parent doesn't live in a household doesn't mean that they're absentee. Right. So how do you deal with the parent that's outside of the house? I can answer that myself. Plain and simple, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Like I feel like if you a father, be a father. I can't stand in your way. You can't let your feelings get involved when it comes down to the kid. My gripe is for parents that's outside the home, when they show up on occasions, graduation, you know, it may be birthdays here and there, or once in a blue little open school, you know, whatever the case may be. Like I have a problem with that when you a parent 3 times a year, maybe 4, but you're not there every day. And just because it doesn't matter where you live at or what borough, state, city, whatever, if you're not there, don't like that whole I'm a holiday father type. I have a problem with that. So I don't. And I don't allow certain things. You can't come here to my home when you want to. Like just, you know, if you're not a parent. It's like it's still a level of respect. So
that's true. I totally agree.
How did you deal with me?
How do I?
How do you deal with me?
No, I think we actually, everything kind of worked out really perfectly. Like, I don't think we really ever had issues. Like, when we moved and we had our place, we invited Denise over to come and see where the kids was going to be at. Because it was just the only respectful thing, that her kids are going to be at our house just as much as they're going to be at her house. So, let's show her the space and so that she feels comfortable knowing that when they come over, they're going to be fine. So, I don't think that's...
Somebody's asking how you can deal with me like that. Like, I am not that bad.
She is not... No.
I am not that bad. Let's see what some of the people are saying, because I saw Annie. Annie was replying to you, was saying she was concerned on how in her relationship, the kids were going to take her. She's being in a similar relationship, like same way as you. So that was one of her concerns, and
She's
that's
in
a
a same-sex relationship.
And I don't know who Coach
Is she in the
Terrell
same-
Wallace
is she in
is,
the
but
same
he's talking
sex
about he's
relationship?
blessed. All right,
Oh,
you know.
boy.
Clap it up
We-
for him.
we say you can't,
Yes.
We definitely say you can't, right?
You are.
But yeah, it definitely makes sense. So my next question would be: did blending live up to your expectations, and should one limit their expectations going on? And I mean that to say sometimes your expectations could be so big, like you could want so much. But when you come into situations like that, I'm on a different end because I'm not coming into the relationship. I'm being a part of it,
Right.
but I'm not coming into it. Like I have my kids, and I said to her one time, I was like, Dad, you got 6 kids.
I was just thinking about that.
I was like, oh, Dad, I said, child, you got 6 kids. I don't know
I was
how
like,
you
you
gonna do
do
that.
too.
She said, bitch, if I got 6, you got 6. I was like,
They coming over your house, staying where they coming over mine. Like,
right? But the thing is to not set the expectations so high.
Right.
You know, sometimes you could want so much, but you got to give them the opportunity to find their bearings. And so, did blending live up to your expectation of what you thought? You know,
like I don't think I had like an expectation. I just kind of
Right.
let everything flow. Like I think when you set expectations and things don't go according to how you want it, then you're disappointed. So I kind of let everything flow, like, and it just meshed out perfectly.
Okay.
I mean, I would concur. I didn't have expectations, but I think that things turned out pretty fine, you know? Especially the love for the kids. Like, they're not my stepkids. I don't consider them my
Right,
stepkids
yeah.
or whatever, and vice versa, you know? But, you know, I think it's fine. It's
Right.
fine. It's like raising just kids of your own.
Right.
You know, they give you the same headaches or whatever the case may be. You get on their nerves the same way. So it's no expectations.
Okay.
So
Okay.
everything is fine.
Yeah, Andy said, you know, you definitely need to take it slow. And that's important. Like, don't rush it. Because some people, they get in a relationship like, you're going to accept me. It's what I say.
Right,
It's what this
right.
is. That's not
You
going to
have
work
to-
out.
You have to
Yeah, that's
take.
It's definitely not going to work
You
out.
have to take time.
Right.
You know, and you have to. I think, especially for like my situation, being in a same-sex relationship, you have to allow the kids to identify you.
Right.
You know.
Mhm.
And so when they get it misconstrued, like, oh, this is not Auntie Shay,
Right.
which we never done that
Right.
weird stuff. We never did that or whatever.
Right.
My mother had suggested that one time because my son was kind of like, but we're not doing that, you
Right.
know?
This is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. We're not doing that. So I think they take to the parenting, calling you their parent, they take that on their own, I think.
Right. That's just like with anybody. Because even if it was a male with a female, I feel like, you know, to force a child to say that's your daddy or you're going to refer to him as your daddy or that's your other mother, I think that's ridiculous.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
They have to
You
become
shouldn't push
comfortable
that.
with that.
You
Right.
have to-
I think
yeah.
the child should be comfortable enough to say, "That's what I want to call
Right.
you."
Right.
And let them do
Shouldn't
that on their
feel
own. Right.
Forced to do. Yeah.
Right.
Because if they do it on your own, you appreciate that more. Because you know
Because
you
then
like
it's more
that.
intimate.
Yeah,
It's-
right. Okay, so the next thing, besides a bad breakup, why do you think that blended families don't work out?
Wow.
I think the adults make it difficult. I don't think it's always the children. Because if you don't like the ex, and now you're constantly talking about the ex in front of the child. Now this child, they may like you, but now their feelings on you may change because their mom or their dad don't like you. So I think it's the adults that make it more difficult than the kids. And now the kids feel like they have this loyalty to their parent.
Right.
And now, like, if mom and dad don't like this person, then I shouldn't like them either.
Right.
Right.
And that kind of what changes it. And sometimes it's still feelings. People still got feelings for the
How do you do this? How y'all talking? You doing what? Y'all hanging out with what? And I'm like, yeah. But for me, I feel like one is I have put here is like the lack of communication. You know, once you identify, you recognize that I'm not after anything that you have, right? So you don't have that threat. You don't feel like I'm that threat. I'm not trying to get your man not trying to come after me. We're not hung up on old feelings and things like that. It plays a big part in that. When people still have feelings or they still tied to something, or maybe it was a bad breakup or whatever the case is, then it causes hostility and tension. And I think that that's really important when you feel like you could trust not the person, not the other mother or the the other the ex-spouse, but you could trust the spouse that you're with, then that
And you don't have nothing else to
right,
worry
that
about.
shouldn't
Right.
that shouldn't hold any
Definitely.
thing.
Anybody can trust me around.
Right. Any pens? Because I don't see no pens, y'all.
Anybody can trust me around my son's father.
No worries.
No, right.
No worries in
She's
that
not
area.
worried about it necessarily, in my opinion, because I'm not the child, so I don't know. But I was a child in a when my mother was trying to have relationship. Once even the breakup was over, and we made it hard. And so once your kids feel like it's like they have some type of maybe
More power.
yeah, and they control it. They control everything. They if they don't like it, they're gonna make you
And
feel
they know.
uncomfortable.
They
They're
gonna
gonna make
and they gonna let it be known.
and they're gonna ride with that. And
I
so that's
think so.
I'm just listen. I'm clear with any person, parent, friend, or whoever that has kids. If your kids are with me, they're going to listen or don't.
Definitely. I
Or
feel
don't
the
leave
same
them,
way.
right?
I feel the
So
same way.
I'm not gonna strong on them or whatever. But it's just like I don't know if it's just my energy. They know that time. I feel like a child should be in a child's place. However, I do understand that when you trying to kind of basically fit into something new, you got to try to find
You have to-
ways
to make it
try to navigate it around
Right.
to make everybody comfortable.
Right.
So my next thing is, what advice would you give to someone who's in your position, or even in my position? I'm gonna speak in my position after you guys speak in your position.
My advice today, me being the 40-year-old Shay, my advice would be take it slow. Establishing rules early on or whatever. That's something I don't recall doing. Establishing rules and roles early on, and just be open. Be open for error. Like, just don't think that everything's gonna be perfect, but just be open for error.
So I was gonna say the same thing really too, like just let it flow. Like you can't force things on anyone. Like you can't make a child like the new parent that's coming in. Just gotta let it work itself out, and in due time things will work itself out. Like you can't force nothing on anyone. Like you can't force on adults, and you definitely can't force it on children, because children's more honest than the adults are.
Right.
So they I don't like this person, and they just not gonna like them.
Right.
But at the same token, too, as the adults, we have to learn to be more adult-like for the sake of kids is watching.
Right.
So if you show them bad examples, then that's how they're gonna
I
react.
say that when you're the parent like me, you're on the outside, right? And so then you have something new and you have to share your kids. I just feel like you respect the boundaries. For me, I feel like if I can trust their father with them, then I should be able to trust the decisions that he made to choose this woman to be with them, right? And so in that case, then I wasn't worried about a thing. As long as my kids are not coming and saying she did something to them, I have no issues.
Right.
I have no concerns. And that had never happened. So if you could trust the person that you're with your kids, why does it matter who he's with? Unless there was some evidence or some situation where something happened, or the kids are stating something that that you can prove. Because you got kids that just want to say, they just don't want it. I just want my mommy with my daddy.
Right.
I just want this and I want that. But if that's the case, then you have to address it. So you got to have communication and just definitely be open to change. Because you have to know that now your children are living in two households, right? So what you do in your household, you can't expect to go on in their household, because it's two different households. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to, you could be manhandling my kids or anything like that, but I can't have you, because I run my house away, that you need to run your house that way.
Right,
However,
right.
their father, he knows the timeline, right? So you know how I am, like my kids know how he is. So I don't have to worry about that. 9 times out of 10, we agree already. We have that commonality in thinking and the right understanding of how we decided to raise our kids. And in another term, if it's that bad, he's gonna call me or I'm gonna call him and we're gonna deal with it. So fortunately enough, we never ran into any issues and things like that. But that's just like advice for people, because I know that a lot of people are in these situations, and I realized that, and we had put a post up, I want to say yesterday or the day before, where when things don't work out with you and the man finds somebody else, we want to give that somebody else a hard time, or even vice versa. If it's not working out with a woman and a woman finds somebody else, the man wants to give that woman a hard time. And I think that in a sense where you see somebody's making that person happy and you're children. I just would encourage people to just take your time, you know what I mean, and just be open to it. And guess what? It's not about you. It's about the kids. And so once you separate yourself in that, then I think that you'll be successful in that.
That's the major part.
You stay blended if the relationship doesn't work out. For me, now I stay blended. Like, these are always going to be my kids. You know, nothing is going to change that, and it just is what it is. Like, that's just it.
I agree. Because if you already been in that child life for so long, why would you walk away from the child?
Mm-hmm.
But you do have people that do that.
But you do have people that do it. But
You even have
mothers. You have people who walk away because the relationship is over, and so it's like, F you, F them if I'm not Fing you.
That's right.
You know?
That's the truth.
Then you have relationships where the parent is like, oh, we ain't together, you can't see my kids.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or, forget about my kids. And that's an issue.
Right.
And once either of the two happens, it's hard to come back from that.
Right.
In my opinion, it's hard to come back.
I really do want to go into that. Not saying that how much you love me, because I adore you. I think that you're great. I love you for my children. But we have been having such a good time. So I don't want to lie, like telling people that we have a good time. You love me. You can love me, Tangie.
I know.
Okay. Don't listen
I
to
think
her.
the people know that already. They know that.
And like,
don't listen
They
to
know
her.
about pictures. Like all the time.
And she taught me how to do Snapchat. So like now I be having filters and stuff like that. I'm good with it.
y'all like sister wives, sister cousins, but without being sister wives. Like, they sister wives without
Yes,
being sister
Iris.
wives.
I love you
You know?
too, Iris. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
All
you.
right, all right.
Listen, you can't help people love sister
wives,
wives.
really?
Without being sister wives. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's how it is.
Because we just really
It's
like
like a
sisters.
sisterhood.
Like people would
Oh,
never,
my
they
God.
would never know
There you
though.
go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how I'm
So-
grateful that my kids were able to have that particular, because it's hard enough when you do have a divorce, a separation, or anything like that. So to have your kids to be able to, have somebody pick that up, that's 100%. Like, you know what I mean? You can't ask for anything more. Like, it could have been way worse. It could have, and we've never had a situation that I feel like we ever needed to correct, that we had to come together and correct or anything like that.
But you know what, too? I think we didn't touch base on the fact that, like, say if there was an issue with, say, her and Terrell, that's not my problem. People tend to always want to get in the midst of it, like, and that's
No,
where
she talk to my husband like that.
Yes, like,
No, she's not.
like,
But
saying
I
that.
told you,
She's
but
talking
now
about
I don't
baby
talk to you
daddy.
crazy. I don't talk to you crazy.
But
Put
even
something
if
up there.
there was an issue, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know that you got to take yourself out of it. Like, they are the parents to their children, so they have to handle the situation. That have nothing to do with me.
Right.
Even if I had an issue, a situation with it, it's still not my problem.
Right.
But people don't know how to separate the two. They want to get involved, and then now that's why people, the exes and everybody's in the midst of arguing.
Right.
Like, somebody got to set the boundary. So, clear
Like,
boundaries
time out.
from the get-go. Like, yeah, like,
Well, you did a
Go to
good
your
job
corner,
with your
go to your
boundaries.
corner.
High five on
Ow.
that.
Did that.
Child, your
Say that.
family is created by infidelity from the beginning. That's 100%.
That's
Those are
true.
one of
That's
the
true.
things that we did talk about
That's
earlier.
different.
Is
That is
definitely
different.
different. However, the important factor and the key factor
Make it
is
about
the
the
child.
Nothing
Make it
to do
about the
with
child.
Is the child.
parents.
And so it's hard because dealing with somebody that hurt you, blah blah blah. But if you hurt using it, the child is the pawn.
Then
Then
that's
you're
not
hurting the
good.
child more.
Okay, so my son. Anybody who know my story, I was 18 when I got pregnant with my son, 19 when I had him. His father was way older than me, 10 years my senior, in a relationship. Yeah, I see him. In a relationship. So I was the one who, my son was the outside child. It wasn't the first in his relationship, but that has nothing to do with me. He was the outside child. So it took a long time for him to become family to his sibling, It took a very, very long time. Why? Because the person, the victim in the situation, the person that got cheated on, who was, got kids had on them, they didn't want nothing to do with him. Why? Because it was a reminder of what her mate did to her. Me being 18, who cares? I'm 18. I don't give a fuck excuse me, I don't give a freak about nobody. Like, I'm 18. I'm just being an 18-year-old, and I wind up, getting blinded by the gold teeth and the money and this, that, and the third.
Not the
It's
gold
true.
teeth.
The gold teeth and the money.
You know that
and
was
this,
it.
that,
A
and the
little
third.
crown.
So,
Get you a crown.
in the name of the street that he held, but my son was out, so it's very hard for when the kids get created out of infidelity. I think it's harder on the kids than it is on the.
Regardless of what people say, every child needs both of their parents.
Mm.
If a parent dies, right, and say the mother dies or the father dies, and the child grows up without their parent. When they get older, they always go back to, I needed my father.
Right.
He didn't teach me how to be a man. He didn't teach me how to throw a ball. He didn't teach me how to do this. If a mother dies, you say the same thing. I didn't know how to be nurturing. I didn't have anybody to teach me how to love. So why is it different when you just take the parent? You
make it as if the parent is dead when the parent is clearly alive. You know?
Right.
It's the same.
Right.
It's like the same behavior or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's true. And the worst thing you could do, I think, Jessica, it went by really quickly, is to have a child feel like they're not wanted. Because you can't decide what you want to do as the adults.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Or
important.
they have to pick a side.
Right. And they shouldn't have
They
to.
shouldn't have to pick a side.
Right.
They shouldn't have to. Because, like I always tell my kids, no matter what I try to tell you, when you become of age, you're going to see for yourself. So I
That's true.
never have to tell
That's
my kids
true.
anything. I don't have to say anything. They're grown enough and they're mature enough. So no matter what you put in their head, when they grow up, they're going to see whether or not that was a lie or the truth.
That's
So I have no time. I think that we did discuss that about, trying to turn the child against the parent.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is going to come out eventually. It may be later on, or it may be.
But they have really manipulative people.
They
So
do.
you got to be careful with that too.
Mhm.
Because they can, something that you didn't even say could be said to the kid.
It can be misconstrued.
And that can go on for years.
Right.
And you
Right.
don't even know
Right.
Right.
that was said to them. And later on, you'll find out that this is why this
It wasn't
anger
even
was
true.
settling the whole time.
Right.
So you got to be careful with that too. Manipulation is a really huge factor.
Yeah, I think me not growing up in a house with my father, him being married to someone else, and his wife having a kid, a child. His wife had a baby goat. No. His wife having a kid and my mother not growing up. So if you watching this, growing up, So and my mother not being fond of his wife, like that was stressful.
Mm-hmm.
It was stressful.
Mhm.
It was so stressful. It's crazy. My dad has a birthday coming up, and we're going to the party in Maryland, and it's crazy because his daughter, and I call her his daughter, like because it is what it is. I've never heard of her having a father, but him. But I know nothing of their relationship. But she's older than me, you know. So I think I was an outside child, I believe, or whatever. So it's like crazy how he's been her father longer than he's been my father, and me and her don't have no relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see her in the street or whenever. I haven't seen her in years, but I can see her and be like, oh, that's my father's daughter.
Wow.
And somebody would be like, what?
And the crazy thing, like now that you bring that up, because I have a brother and I have a sister outside of my mother relationship, and we love them. So we have a sister. My father, he had a son outside, and when he was with a young lady, she had a daughter and a son, and that he raised.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, she made sure that she made sure that we were sticking together and staying in line. She was working harder to keep that going. Her being the child of the person that he was dating.
Right.
She worked very hard to keep that inclusion, and it's like my mother, she's ma to her. Her mother is like ma to us. You know what I mean? My brother, his mother is ma to us. It was no, so after a while, you just become,
And it's crazy because my sister Sherry, I don't know whether she's on or not because I wasn't looking at the screen so much, but my sister Sherry and my brother Andrew, like we share a brother. Like so my father is his father, but they all have the same mother. they all have the same mother, but my sister Sherry and my brother Andrew, it's like they're my brother and my sister. Like it's no nothing, and we have no blood relation.
Right.
Like they are my siblings. Like it just no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
But you know what? Another thing. I mean, of course, I can't say because I can't just say do this or do that. I think that after you become a certain age, if you want something or you want to have that resolved, sometimes it just takes to just
do it on your own.
And then if it does not work, then you can say, you know what, I'll put that out. Okay, so cause sometimes we have the control in our parents' hands because we're kids, and then when we become older, if we feel like, you know what, listen, I'm over this. Let me reach out to you. Look, I don't know what this has to do. You know why this has put so much strain on our family. I know it has to do with him, but now we're grown. Where we gonna go from this now? What we gonna do today? You know what I mean?
No,
and how we can move forward. And sometimes it takes that. Of course, some people don't want to do that. You know, people get caught up in their feelings and things like that. You don't feel like it's necessary for you to do it. But, you know, the one thing I could say is this, right? My father, he passed away the day before my birthday, 10 years ago? 10 years ago, right? There's a lot of stuff that I wish that I did different. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that I wish that I did different that he wasn't like in my house and active in my house, but because of my feelings as a kid and I just let them go, I never addressed them, then it's like years now, 10 years later, where you sit back and you be thinking like, dang, I wonder if I would have went and did this or would have tried that. So sometimes it's worth the effort to just go and say, you know what?
Try to build a relationship yourself.
Right. And that should, even if it's not a relationship that you're going to be best friends, but that you could kind of have some type of, you could have some type of peace or some type of resolve in it. So, I mean, that would be my suggestion to anything, She always calls me, like, they call me, this term does not go with this, but basically Captain Save-A-Hole. They always say, I'm always looking for the best thing to do. I'm always trying to make it better. But I feel like it's necessary, for you to have peace, you know what I mean? And for you to, have at least together some type of understanding or try to make it. If it doesn't work, it just doesn't work.
Even like what she was saying in her comment, like the kid, like the siblings hate her and it's the dad's fault. But you don't know what was said. And you don't know what was said to those siblings. It could have been from the mother. It could have been from anybody else. You really don't know. And that's the bad part about it. When you have, these blended families outside, everybody plays a part in it. Because, like, also, I have a brother that my father had outside. And not that he was outside, but, he had another child. And we didn't have a relationship. I remember seeing him, and we didn't have a relationship either. And my father didn't make it his business that we have a relationship. But when I got to a certain age, I reached out. And to this day, we are like this. Because I reached out. I had my child, and I said, I was like, you know what? I have a son now. I know I got another brother. I don't get to see him. My father, he didn't put the effort in to say, y'all need to be around each other. But I called him, and ever since that call,
somebody just needs to break the ice.
Yeah, that's cool. It's crazy that you say that because, like I was just speaking of my brother and my sister who we share a brother with. I'm closer to my brother and my sister who we have no blood relation than I am my biological brother.
Yeah.
Like it's just no relationship there. Like we can,
so sometimes
we can see each other and just be like, hey, what's up?
You make the initiative, and if they accept it, they accept it, and if they don't, they
don't.
don't.
That's when
you try,
and that's when you can make peace.
Yeah, at least you try.
Let's just say that we thank you guys for joining in with us. Wait a minute.
Here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Just want to let me stand up. Can you see me? I just want to say thank y'all. Today we reached 700 members. I think it was like a week and a half ago, maybe two. It wasn't 2 weeks. So we just at 430. And I had put up a little video and I was telling y'all to go tag somebody. We trying to get to 500. And y'all went superseded that.
Right.
Like 700 members like today. So I thank y'all. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. We appreciate all your comments, all your feedbacks, all your likes, all your shares, all of your everything, all of your love. We appreciate it. I thank you. Let's get some vibe checks up there.
That's right. 7 is a lucky number. That's right, Jessica.
So,
thank you, Jessica.
We
Angelica.
cannot do this without y'all. We had a vision for it, but I don't think that we thought that it would just go to this platform this fast.
Right.
I didn't think so.
It's been a month, and we actually really came really far in a month. And I mean, we have a good time on the feeds. We get into some serious and some challenging conversations. But we really like to have the lives be real personable and hit some really hot topics. We want you guys to stay tuned for some great topics from some different type of videoing. Things are coming. You know, we got a lot of things in store. We got pretty dope merchandise.
We got merch. We got merch coming. She got hers on. I'm gonna step out with mine.
You know, she still got my little signature here on the side. You know, I got a little something going on. I just want to say, Angelica, I saw your comment come up later, but you definitely, I can see where that could be hard. Yeah, absolutely. So what I want to do is give Tangi an opportunity to talk about eloquently spoken. And
wait. You couldn't say that at the same time she putting this
Hold on.
What happened?
Hold on.
This
Hold
thing
on now.
matched my sneakers.
Hold on.
I did not even
Let's call her
look
out.
at this.
Let's call her out.
Right.
Look,
We're at
Webster.
7:31. Samantha Webster.
Samantha Webster. Her
Right.
daughter makes the little headbands. I wore it. I did not know it was gonna match.
She made a little headband.
Because she only gave
The
one.
one thing about us is that because we definitely believe $5. We believe in support.
I want 5.
We believe in supporting the youth, you know, and it's definitely our goal to support them. And once we see that a young person has an idea, we want to sow into that idea. We want to, you know, kind of nurture it. So I want to be of support. So if you guys are looking for any beautiful headbands, these are just the colors that we selected. She does this type, and she does the hard bands and things like that. You can reach out to Samantha Webster. She is on Facebook, and you can hear her in
It's a pretty dope conversation.
and
That's her
DM,
daughter
yeah.
that says that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so go ahead and tell you're pretty dope. What were you saying? Because the people are saying that they like that.
You like the apparel?
They like our fashion.
You have to hit up Sour Patch Princeton. Sour SOW''R on IG, Facebook. Like, hit her up, put your orders in for your stuff or whatever the case may be, okay?
Yeah. Please do that. Please. It's getting cold. Make sure to please. Listen, we on it. We really on it. And, you know, with us, what we're trying to do is build business around us. We don't want to go after the businesses that are already up and running. We're trying to help our sisters who are around us, who have ideas and who have ambition, build their businesses. Each one teach one, and everybody supports it. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to have a production company. We're having everything coming up with all of the people who have sold into us, who have offered us their help and their assistance. We just want to say thank you, and thank you guys for your support. And now...
we need more than an hour. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to keep y'all.
Okay, well, Eloquently Spoken is basically a women's support group that is focused on mental health and wellness for the women. Like, how many people need to get their mental in order? So basically, you need to be on it tomorrow.
Right.
I got you.
So that's, you know, the focus too is just to have a safe environment where it's non-judgment zone. Like, be free to express yourself, get all your
Well,
truth.
we greatly appreciate you for joining us on the couch.
Thank
you.
And hold on, let's not forget she has merch. She needs to talk about this merch. I wish she had her mask, but she has t-shirts, she has shirts, she has sweatshirts.
I like the baseball tee. Hey.
Important to me.
Okay, that's our time. Thank you for joining us. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And don't forget to go invite someone and then tell them to invite someone. And make sure that you're telling them that you invited them so they can be invited.
Right, so that they can accept the invitation.
Hey!
Be some pretty dope
Look at you ready, see?
conversation, hot topics.